We're standing by to hear from the President of the United States, arguably the most important foreign policy, national security decision so far in his administration. He's about to announce whether or not the United States will leave the Iran nuclear deal that was worked out with allies and Russia and China during the Obama administration back in 2015. We'll have live coverage of the President's statement to the nation, indeed to the world. That's coming up. But there's other news we're following right now, including some shocking allegations of abuse against a key critic of President Trump. The New York State Attorney General Schneiderman resigned under pressure only hours after the story broke of allegations of abuse from several women. In a statement, Schneiderman said this, quote, "Serious allegations, which I strongly contest, have been made against me. They will effectively prevent me from leading the office's work at this critical time. I therefore resign my office," close quote. Here with us to discuss is Lauren Burke. She's a writer for the National Newspaper Publishers Association, our senior White House correspondent Jeff Zeleny, and CNN political analyst Molly Ball. Molly writes for Time magazine as well. Were you surprised at how quickly Molly Schneiderman resigned? It was a matter of only a few hours after the story broke.
That's right. Almost exactly 3 hours from the time that the timestamp on the New Yorker story published online. I didn't have time to be surprised, frankly, because it did happen so quickly. But you have to think that given the damning and really conclusive nature of this report, detailing, multiple women on the record, as well as other women who didn't want to be named, very consistent allegations, very consistent stories of physical abuse. If you're Eric Schneiderman, you look ahead and think there is no way that I'm going to come out of this. There's no way that I'm going to be able to move forward with my political career. And you had the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, who's, of course, extremely powerful in New York politics, calling for his resignation. Schneiderman was someone who was thought to be ambitious within Democratic circles, but this just, you have to think that that's over.
Yeah, the article was so damning, Lauren. Let me read to you one quote from one of the women who offered this charge, this accusation against the New York State Attorney General. Quote, "Sometimes he'd tell me to call him master, and he'd slap me until I did. He started calling me his brown slave and demanding that I repeat that I was his property." When you read that right. Kind of sentence, that kind of line, what went through your mind?
I was pretty shocked, actually, that, usually in these stories you do see something in there where the governor would actually have at least a conversation, a tertiary conversation with the person before demanding a resignation. He did not even stop to do that, and he didn't need to stop to do that because, of course, these two reporters, Jane Mayer and I'm sorry, what's his name?
Ronan Farrow.
I'm sorry, Ronan Farrow, who, of course, just won the Pulitzer Prize, had it locked down so tight. And, of course, we have that other source in there with regard to an unnamed, prominent New York attorney, which we'll probably find out later who that is. But the fact that Ronan is on this and is on this incredible role, quite frankly, the facts all locked down, and for him to resign in only 3 hours, this type of prominent political career, promising political career, actually, it's incredible, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, only an hour after the governor of New York, as you point out, Governor Cuomo said he's got to go, and he's got to go quickly. It didn't take also very long, Jeff, for the president's inner circle, Kellyanne Conway, Donald Trump Jr., among others, firing off some pretty gleeful tweets. They hated Schneiderman like a lot of Trump supporters did. Schneiderman was often going after the president, Kellyanne tweeting, "Gotcha." What do you think of that quick response?
Not surprising at all. It gave them, a moment to, I guess, smile about this whole thing. But I think, the reality here is that Eric Schneiderman appears, at least if these allegations are accurate, and they seem to be, otherwise he wouldn't have resigned so quickly, he's a hypocrite. That was the biggest thing of all. I mean, he has been someone who has been on the leading edge, really, making a name for himself, being a crusader against Donald Trump. So that, of course, is why they responded so much there. But I think it is a good reminder as we head into the midterm election season, and where there's this a current of the Me Too movement. It can, and in fact does, happen in both parties. And the fact in the story there, and Ronan said this morning on New Day, that some people advised them not to come forward because it could take down a Democrat, is offensive and absurd, really. So it's a reminder that Democrats do this as much as Republicans, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it certainly is. All right, guys, everybody stick around. There's a lot more news we're following, including new news involving Rudy Giuliani. The president is growing, apparently,